If you're a super cool Star Wars lover, then you might have heard of a little ship called the Millenium Falcon. Lego has a few versions of that ship for sale right now. There's the giant UCS set if you have the space for it and you slayed a dragon for all its gold. Then there's the $170 place set that came out in 2019 and is being retired by the end of the year. And now we have an even smaller version, but is it any good? What is up, nerds? My name is Matt and this is my review of Lego's midi-scale Millenium Falcon. This set comes with 921 pieces and will cost you $85 or euros or 75 pounds. Like Lego's other recent midi-scale ships, this one does not include any minifigures, so we can skip right to the build. And maybe because there are no minifigs, but I have to say, this set is practically a bargain compared to almost any other Lego Star Wars set you can buy right now. You might have noticed a minute ago, but this set comes in at less than 10 cents per piece, which is almost unheard of in Lego Star Wars. Not only that, but this set has new pieces and tons of great prints, and comes with 0 stickers. I know it's not a huge set though, and some of you might be thinking that this doesn't feel like quite enough plastic for $85. After all, for the price of 2 of these sets, you could get the much larger playscale set that comes with a ton of minifigs. And that's a fair point, so I'll quickly compare this set to the playscale version that came out a few years ago at the end of this video so you can decide which one is best for you. The things I noticed first when looking at this model is that the proportions look pretty accurate for a midi-scale Falcon. That's probably not an easy job with a ship like this, with the rounded back, the offset cockpit, the front mandible section, and the area in between. The Millenium Falcon also slopes gently from that laser cannon on top to the edges of the saucer on the top and bottom, and Lego has done a pretty decent, although maybe not amazing, job of replicating those angles here. There are enough studs visible to give you that Lego vibe, but this ship actually feels very smooth and tiled off compared to most larger sets, so to me the look and feel of this set is actually more similar to the UCS version of the Falcon than to the playscale set. Lego is making really good use of all those 921 pieces here with a lot of 1x1 tiles, ingot pieces, jumper plates, grates, and other greebling to achieve a pretty detailed surface all over the top and sides. Even the bottom feels pretty finished here, although maybe not quite as well as the top. There are 16 printed pieces in this set. The 6 vents at the back, the 4 openings up front, the cone piece for the cockpit, and 2 round tiles for the cockpit front and for use by that laser cannon up top, 2 for the escape pods on the sides, and 1 more for the stand. Actually, there are 17 because there's also this printed 25th anniversary piece that you can include on the stand if you're into that. That cockpit piece is actually new here, so it should be super useful for custom builders, and so is that blue corrugated plastic piece on the back used for the thrusters. There's no interior to this, obviously, but Lego has been including little Easter egg scenes in these midi-scale sets, and this one is no exception. In one part of the ship, we see R2 and Chewbacca using the holochess table while Luke and C-3PO stand beside them. Then later on in the build, we can see Han Solo and Princess Leia interrupted by C-3PO. Now, rather than forcing builders to figure those things out, Lego has decided now to start including that information in the instructions, which I think is really great. The set comes with a stand that positions the Falcon at a jaunty angle that feels really dynamic. It's probably the most complicated base I've ever built in Lego, and I don't really understand why the section under the plaque uses gray bricks instead of black. It's still a really cool stand though, and was actually kind of a fun build. And I love how the ship looks in the stand, but if you ever decide to take it out for a spin, then it's actually a pretty nice size to swoop around and play with. Just keep in mind that there's no landing gear. I think the ship looks great, but it's not perfect. There are a few larger gaps that I wish could have been avoided, especially in the area behind the cockpit, which definitely doesn't look as solid as it could. The laser cannons up top don't rotate at all, and the large dish near the front has a pretty limited range of motion that doesn't include pointing straight ahead. I feel like the mandible section is just a tiny bit too short, or maybe it's just that this piece behind it is a little bit too far forward. But all things considered, I think this is a great looking version of the Millenium Falcon. It's not the only version though, and if you have a little bit more to spend, then you can still pick up 7527 before it retires later this year. And I wouldn't blame you because it's a great set with a pretty nice interior and quite a few minifigs. If you're looking mostly for a display set though, then the midi-scale version takes up a lot less space and to me feels almost like a tiny UCS set with all the detail on the exterior. It looks great on the stand and is perfect if you're a Star Wars fan who wants something on your desk, at work, your shelves at home, or wherever else you might want to put it. Later, nerds!